Top of the morning, everybody. What's up? Welcome to another episode of Top of the Morning. We keep good news. If it's your first time listening, which probably not, but if it is, welcome to the rest of the best day of your life, or the rest of the best of your life, should I say. Doesn't matter anyways. I like to say every single day is the best day of your life. If you don't believe so, you don't even have a chance of that being an actuality. And we always got to make sure we give ourselves a chance every single day to make sure that today is the day that we've been waiting on. What if today was the day that you've been waiting on? What if today was the day that changed your life forever? What if today was the day that brought you everything you've been asking for? But you have to be prepared, and you have to be in a certain position of expectation. Are you prepared for the best day of your life? Are you prepared for the opportunity of a lifetime? Are you ready to receive the blessing that you've been asking for? Do you have space for that new car that you've been asking for? Do you have a bank account for that money that you want? Do you have what it is? Have you made room for what it is you've been praying for? Have you made room for it? Have you prepared for it? Have you asked for it and then made room for it? Big question. Nevertheless, today's topic is called the beginning, because people don't really think about the beginning so much because we get caught up in the end. I'm going to say it again. We don't think about the beginning so much because we get caught up thinking about the end. We get caught up thinking about when it's going to be over. And the reason why this even kind of sparked in my mind, I ran this morning, and mile 1 and mile 2, I was like, man, I'm kind of tired. I feel like stopping. I wonder if I'm only going to run 2 miles today, whatever the case may be. But of course, me in my mind, I'm telling myself, like, you can do way more than this. You've done more than this before. So what's the problem? And every single time I run, the first couple miles are always the most difficult. So it made me realize, like, at the beginning of most things is always the most difficult. I'm going to say that again. At the beginning of most things that you are starting out to do, that you try to do, even that you've been doing for a while, the beginning is always the most difficult part. Now, what happens is most people quit before they get past the threshold of the beginning. Most people quit in the beginning of whatever they're trying to do. Let me say that again. Most people quit in the beginning of doing whatever they're trying to do. They don't wait and stick around long enough for it to get a little bit easier. They don't stick around long enough for them to become comfortable with the work. They don't stick around long enough for them to figure out how to make this process simple to do. They don't. Most people quit at the beginning. So I'm here to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, the beginning is always the most difficult part. Is getting past the beginning where success lies. It's the middle part. It's the journey. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. How often do we start things and don't finish them? And if you don't finish them, why is it that you have not finished what you started? I don't know, maybe it's a new diet, maybe it's a new workout plan, maybe it's a new book, maybe it's a new regimen that you decide to put into your life. Maybe it's you've decided to change the way you approach your friends. Whatever it is, why do we start things and then quit them so fast and so often? It's because of the amount of difficulty that's required, and a lot of the difficulty lies in the area of uncomfort. It's not comfortable. See, when I'm out there running my first mile, my first 2 miles, I'm always trying to figure out myself, right? It's called getting warmed up. My legs are cold. It's cold outside. I haven't adjusted to the weather yet. It's so many factors in the beginning that actually will cause you to stop, quit, decide I don't want to do this no more, cut out early. It's cold outside. My legs aren't warmed up. My body isn't right. I haven't gotten into a comfortable breathing pattern yet. My legs haven't gotten used to the pavement. There's so many things, like my feet start to hurt. There's so many things that happen in the beginning of my run, but every single time I get to about 2 miles or over 2 miles, it starts to become this coasting thing. It starts to become a little easier. Yes, I'm still tired, but I've gotten used to being tired now. So being tired is no longer a barrier for me to stop. Do you hear what I'm saying? I've gotten comfortable with being tired, so tired is no longer feels like a reason for me to stop anymore. I'm now sweating. My body temperature has gotten used to the weather outside. The weather doesn't bother me anymore. My legs are now have adapted to the ground and the pavement because it's been used to it after 2 miles. My legs and my feet don't hurt anymore. It becomes this subconscious working on, like, you're not even thinking about it no more. Everything I was thinking about at the beginning, and it's your mind. Here it is. It's your mind. At the beginning, your mind is telling you, is this a difficult task? Your mind is telling you, is this easy? Your mind is really messing you up. They say that your body will give up before your mind does, or sometimes even vice versa. But the whole point of that is you have to decide one particular thing. And the particular thing you have to decide is, so what? So what you're tired? So what you don't feel like it? If you know this is best for you to do, and you know you're at the beginning, decide, and commit to going beyond the beginning stage. Commit beyond just starting. I'm not even telling you to commit to finishing, because that may be too much weight on your mind. Just commit to not quitting at the beginning. Just commit to not quitting at the beginning. Imagine what kind of effect that will have on you if you just don't quit at the very beginning. So many people quit right when it starts. Like, ooh, this is too hard. This is my first day. It's going to be hard your first time. It's going to be hard your first day. It's going to be hard your first attempt. This is called progress. You cannot start off at 3 miles a day. You need to start off at 1. You cannot start off at the top of your profession. You got to start off at the bottom. It's always difficult at the very beginning. But here's the best part about the beginning. If you know it's the most difficult at the beginning, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That means if you keep going, it only gets easier. That means you're at the hardest part of it already. You're already in the most difficult spot you can be in. So it only can get better. It's kind of like when people get to the bottom or whatever, they say, I'm at the bottom, and they become optimistic because they say, hey, well, it can't get no worse than this. Whatever you're trying now, it can't get no more difficult than where you are now. It can't get harder than this. It can't get more difficult. You can only get better. It can only get easier. It can only get simpler. I watched David Goggins a lot. I don't know if y'all know who he is, but he's a pretty intense individual, and he's a runner, and he uses his running to motivate people, which is kind of where I got some of mine from. But long story short, he talks about this process of training your mind. See, when you first start things, it could be waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You say, I want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you start doing it. At first, it's going to be tough. You're going to be like, oh, I don't feel like getting up at 5 in the morning. I don't want to do it. But I guarantee you do it after a week. You do it after 2 weeks. Do it after 3 weeks. Now 5 in the morning seems like a regular thing. What has happened is, in the words of David Goggins, your mind, you have trained your mind to say, this is what we do now. So your mind is going to do whatever you design it to do, whatever you fix it to do, whatever you prepare it for, whatever habits. It's like your mind will grow whatever you plant in it. Hear what I'm saying? If you plant getting up at 5 a.m., if you plant a diet, if you plant working out, if you plant success, if you plant progress, if you plant happiness into your mind, it has no other option but to grow and fester. And how do you plant things in your mind? What do you talk about on a daily basis? Most people use most of their days complaining. I'm gonna say this again. This is so real. Most people use most of their time complaining. People love to gather around complain, or people can't wait to call somebody and complain about something that's happened to them today. We get off on complaint more than anything else. We feel like complaint brings us together. I've been in line at a store before, and people like turn to me, and they won't even say hi. They won't even say how you doing. They'll just say, man, this line show is taking long, huh? They need some more people in here. Like, why? Like, you turned to me and you wanted to talk to me because you have something to complain about more than just an actual generous saying or anything. But the first thing that people jump on is the idea of complaint. I'm telling you, it's natural. I don't know why we do it. I remember reading a book that says try to go 24 hours without complaining. And I've brought this up in this show before, and it's very difficult to do. Try to go 24 hours without a complaint. It's almost impossible for a human to do. We've programmed around complaining so much. We're programmed to focus on what we don't like. We're programmed to focus on what's wrong. You know how we've been programmed to do this? I'm gonna give you a clear example that everybody's experienced. We've all went to school, whether it's grade school, high school, middle school, college, whatever. Now, when you do take a test, hear me out. when you take a test and you get your test back, are the wrong answers marked or the right answers marked? Serves the same purpose, but why do we mark off all the wrong answers instead of the right ones? Good question. The reason why is because we're conditioned to focus on what went wrong. We're conditioned to focus on what's wrong versus what's right. We are made to focus on what we don't like versus what we do like. So when you are at the beginning of anything, you're focused on what you don't want to do. I'm tired. I don't feel like it. Instead of being focused on the result, instead of being focused on what you do like. When I get out there sometime and I'm running, I'll say, I don't feel like running. But I'll say, man, I'm running off this cheeseburger I had the other day. I'm focused on what I really want to run off the cheeseburger. I really want to eat whatever I want to eat. I really want my stomach to look a certain way. I really want to make sure my conditioning is correct. I really want to stay in shape. I really want to make sure that I'm being committed to who I say I am. All those things that I'm striving for is what pushes me through the run. I'm no lie. I'm thinking about I have to run because I have to stick to who I say I am. If I don't finish this run, if I don't see it through, then I'm not who I really say I am. I'm not as motivational as I say. I'm not the Keith who I say that I am. And there's no way that I can sit there and lie to myself. And no way I'm not going to lose to me. That's what I'm not going to do. When it's you versus you, you can't lose to yourself. That's the worst person to lose to, is yourself, because you have full control over who wins and who doesn't. You have full control over who wins. You're not playing anybody else. It's not you against anybody. It's just you versus yourself. So the reason why I bring this up, ladies and gentlemen, because we're talking about the beginning stages of anything, how the beginning of anything is the most difficult. So don't get caught up in quitting at the beginning. Quit in the middle or something like that. Quit at the end. Well, you definitely won't quit at the end, but you hear what I'm saying? Like, don't quit at the beginning. Find out what happens past the point of difficulty. Oh, that's good. Find out what happened past the point of difficulty. Just because it's difficult don't mean you shouldn't do it and get through it, because I promise you, no matter what is difficult, it becomes easy over time. I remember when I first started running a mile was difficult. Now it's easy. When I first started doing radio was difficult. Now it's easy. I'm sure whatever you do in your profession, whatever you do as a profession, at one point in time, it was difficult. Now it's easy. You have to go past the beginning, past the point of difficulty, on to the point of it being simple, easy, and conditional for you. Habitual. You know how difficult it was for you to walk when you was a child, when you was a baby? Think about how easy it is for you to walk now. When you first started walking, it was difficult, right? Imagine if you gave up on learning how to walk when you were a baby. Imagine that. Imagine you say, you know what? This walking thing is too difficult. I keep falling. I don't like it. Imagine if you quit then. None of us would be walking. You remember when you first started driving, how difficult it was? For me, when I first started driving, I used to always get cramps in my leg because I was so stressed out about driving. It was so difficult for me. Now, we could do it without even thinking about it. It's subconscious. I'm using these examples, ladies and gentlemen, to prove the point that just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. You have to do it until it becomes easy. No matter how difficult it is, do it until it becomes easy. You will figure it out. You will get better. It's called practice, ladies and gentlemen. It's called consistency, ladies and gentlemen. And those two things, for some reason, people don't think is a part of the formula. They don't think it's a part of the formula to get better. They don't think it's a part of the formula to succeed. They don't think it's a part of the formula to progress. It's all about you going through the difficult times until the easy times show up. But do not give up prior to the easy time. So many people quit right before it's easy. It's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. It's a phenomenon, but people quit right before the easy stuff is about to happen. Right before the gold is right there. Right before they're about to get into that threshold of making whatever they don't want to do a habit. Why do we give up so easy? We start looking at the future and we start saying, I don't know how I'm going to keep this up. Yeah, you don't know how, but that don't mean that you're not going to figure out how. You don't know how right now. You didn't know how to do nothing before you learned how to do it. Is that correct? You didn't know how to do anything until you learned how to do it. Cooking was difficult until you start doing it, and now it became simple. I know some people who didn't learn how to pump gas until they were adults, right? And they was like, I don't know how to pump gas. So for them, it seemed like the most difficult task in the world, but it's very simple. Obviously, once you learn anything, once you get in the habit of anything, it becomes easy. So the whole point of this show today is do what's difficult until it becomes easy. Is that good enough for y'all? So listen to what I'm sharing with you as we get out of here today. Some of the most difficult things in the world to do, is to decide which direction you're going to grow in next. Hear what I just said. One of the most difficult things in the world to do is deciding what you're going to grow in next. Because there's no such thing as, you can't do anything. You have to grow in every facet of life. That means you start and then you continue to build and get better and better and better and better over time. Ladies and gentlemen, it don't show up right away. You have to put in time, effort, and energy. And I promise you, if you do that enough times, whatever it is you're doing, it becomes easy. You know what seems difficult? Rocket science. You know how we always use the example, this ain't rocket science, but guess what? To rocket scientists, rocket science is easy. They've been doing it for years and years and years. You know what seems difficult? Heart surgery. But to heart surgeons, it's nothing. Any plastic surgery seems crazy to me, but the plastic surgeons is nothing. So understand, no matter what you think is difficult, somebody has found it easy because they've put in the time, effort, and energy to make it easy. So for you, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you feel like is going to be a difficult task, do it anyway, go right at it, and just put in the time, and don't quit at the beginning. Get to the point where it becomes easier, and then you decide what you want to do with the rest. But don't quit just because it's difficult. You don't feel like you can do it. That's not having faith in yourself. And if you don't have faith in yourself, you won't be successful at nothing. The most successful people believe that no matter what they do, they'll be successful at. Because you know why? The formula is the same. Opportunity mixed with difficulty. And then you got to add a little consistency in there. You got to add a little teaching in there. But show up for yourself all the time, every time. And don't allow yourself to quit too early. Don't allow yourself to quit too early. Yeah, there's difficult parts of it, difficult times, but don't quit too early because you may just be being tested to see if this is what you really want. Many times I don't want to get out there and hit the pavement. It's crazy because now, I'll run anywhere from 3 to 5 miles on a regular, and it sounds crazy because I run 3 miles when I don't feel like running today, so I'm just going to run 3 miles. My mentality around it has changed. It used to be I'm not running at all. I got to run 3 miles. 3 miles seemed like that was my max at one point, but I've been doing it for now over a year. Going into a year and 3 months now, and 3 miles seemed like an off day. Is that crazy? No, it's not crazy. It's consistency. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is Wednesday. Make sure you go out and have the best Wednesday that's available to you. Take advantage of today. Take advantage of the opportunity that you have called life. Life is so short. And for a lot of people, it's extra short. You don't know which short you get. So take advantage of now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on Monday. Have a good day.